Hey Nick, thank you for sending me your trades to review from this morning and the kind of initial onset of my review here. Just to kind of making sure I have all this down. I appreciate it. I mean, this is exactly how you want to get better, right? Is you just show them in here to review. You put them in Discord for not only me but all your peers to see, right? And that to me is being vulnerable, and we want to be vulnerable when we trade because we don't learn if we don't share our mistakes and saying, you know what, this is what I thought, but what else do you guys see, right? And then give the opportunity for people to come in and say, you know, this is what I would have done, this is, you know, and share some insight, because that's how we learn, right? The insight may be valuable to you, or you may just disregard it, but either way, you get the opportunity to learn. And so that's why posting trades is vital. More importantly than posting trades is posting, hey guys, I called the market wrong, or why did I lose, or here's something I did wrong, or help me to understand why this was wrong, right? And that's the power of the community on Discord. And so everybody has an opportunity to jump in and say, maybe you should have done this, maybe you should have done that. And then you have the opportunity to choose to listen to that. If it fits well with what your style of trading, then take it, right? If it doesn't, ignore it and only keep the best and eliminate the rest, right? So kind of looking at this right here, I think what you're really talking about is really all this was pretty decent trading. All this kind of into here, pretty decent trading. And you're kind of up and down, up and down, up and down, taking profits. And then I think where you got a little bit maybe hurt is probably on this stack and got out here. The biggest thing that I'll say, you know, cutting through everything, is that on this layer stack, on this trade, on this trade, on this trade, on this trade, you rode that, and in my mind, you did that correctly because you got in at the right moments. You got in on a possible turn. There's another possible turn. You got in on a possible turn, and you got in on a possible turn. And the market does this sometimes where it just doesn't turn and it wants to continue to ride down. The thing that I would say is that the biggest, I don't want to call it mistake, but we'll just call it a learning opportunity for you, is that you got out here. Okay. And I think you got out here because you were scared that it was going to drop, again. Right. And so like, I'm going to get out. But for me, again, this is a little bit hindsight, but if I didn't have this data, I would still say that this is what I would consider a max loss. And we talk a lot about not taking the max loss. And right here where you X'd out of all of these trades is a max loss. And so let me explain that for a second. Let me explain what you could have done instead of avoiding that max loss. There's a couple things that you could have done, or what I would have done to avoid this max loss. And we're going to put this up here. So we're talking about not taking a max loss. All right. And what I mean by taking a max loss is basically you get out at the worst possible moment to get out. Okay. But what we do as traders is we see this little bit of a run up and we're like, oh, okay, great. It's crossed. It's passed. It's going to continue to come up. And now all my trades are going to be good. Right. And we don't take them. We don't take them because we're like, all my trades are going to be good now. I'm back in the zone. I just needed to cross here, and it does, and we're good. And so I'm not going to close out of my trades, right? Because we're like, hey, we're back in profit, we're back in good standing. And the way that you traded this, yes, that is probably the logic that you would have. That's probably the logic that you would run, is because I just need it to come back up into this area, and then all my trades are good. But instead of saying that, go to plan B and say, what if it doesn't come back into this area? How do I get out of these trades and still make profit, right? So, and how do I get out of these trades and still make money? That's the question. And that's what needs to be answered in your own mind is like, and what I would have done is I would have continued to buy in here like you did, but I would have known that, you know what, this layer right here is, for all intents and purposes, we'll say that this was a 10 pip against me, 10 pips against me, and I have 2 trades. So 2 trades, 10 pips against me equals 20 pips against me. So I need this layer and this layer to give me 20 pips right here. Let's say it's 20 pips against you right here. Well, if it moved up 5 pips, now I'm only 10 pips against me, right? Because market moved up 5 in your favor. So you got one, so it reduces one trade by 5 pips and the other trade by 5 pips. So it takes that negative 20 pips to a negative 10, right? So now you have this layer here that says, okay, I'm in the profit. This gives you +5. This gives you +3. So now you're +8 if you combine on all of these trades. So you have 6 trades here. Let's see, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 trades here that are going to profit, that are going to fix 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades that you need to fix, right? So that to me is going to be difficult unless you get this break and it comes up here. So what you need to do is have enough trades on, and your position size, kind of like what we just talked about in the challenge, was making sure that you have the right position size in order to put enough trades on right here that says if it touches this line, probably this line right here. So if it touches this line, I want to be out for profit. So this layer right here, okay? And if it touches that, I want to be out for profit, and I want to be able to fix this. I want to be able to fix this. I want to be able to fix this, and I want to be able to fix that, right? So all those trades you'll be able to fix if you have enough trades down here for the turn and for the test right here. We talked about this a lot in our trading session today, that you need to always put yourself into a position where I just need one price cycle in my favor, and it'll fix and a lot of my trades, if not all of my trades, right? And I just need one price cycle in my favor. The problem that people get into trouble is their position size is too large here, too large here, too large here, too large here. And so now they're stuck. Like if they're scared, because if they add any more position size, it adds risk, right? And we don't want to add risk. We don't want to double our risk here. Doubling our risk here would be crazy, because if it breaks down, we could have a bad day, right? But more often than not, it doesn't continue to break down. You're going to get at least a one price cycle pullback, and that's what you trade for. But guess what? The days that you don't get that, it turns into a marching market. We had that yesterday. We had that last week. And you do need to, and then you just decide, okay, I need to take the max loss. I got to take the max loss, but you got to know when and where that is. And I'm not really certain on this screen if this is, an outside range here. If it was, I don't think it was, because I know that the market's been moving up. But if this happens to be an outside range, then yes, that is appropriate to take the max loss there, right? Before it hits that. However, you should have fixed, if it was me, I would have fixed my trades here, got either a break-even situation or a little bit of a profit. But the biggest thing that I'd be looking for would be that reset to zero. Had you have done that, you'd executed this layer stack perfectly. I don't know if I would have been buying right here, just because it proved maybe you're going for another test, but I would have gotten out pretty quick when it failed that test. So there had to be enough meat on the bone there. Let me just kind of clear the screen here. So, but this was perfect execution here. I would have gotten out here on these trades that didn't materialize there. And I probably would have gotten back into some sells right here for a test of this low, right? So you got into some buys here, perfect, because you're doing the same thing. This is a proper execution, but when it breaks down, what technique do you deploy to fix it? And you're doing the same thing right here that you did here, but it worked out in your favor. So right here, not such a good layer because you're at this is the biggest don't, right? To me, this is the biggest don't for anybody, is that you placed a trade at the end of a price cycle. So end of price cycle comes down and you got into a layer of sells right there, right? So, or maybe that's your exit. That could have been your exit. Anyways, just the colors might have thrown me off. But if that's the case, if you did actually place sells there, then no. But if that's where you actually took the losses, which I think that's what's happening, right? You took your losses there. Anyways, that's to me, everything else was good except for this run right here, where you took that max loss. And I don't want to go in and dissect every single one of your trades, but that to me was my first initial reaction. My first initial thought was you took the max loss on these trades, and you shouldn't have if you would have had your position size appropriate and be able to take a break-even situation here, get the reset to zero, basically clearing off all your trades and then now analyzing the market, right? Hopefully that helps. Let me know what you think. Post that in the comments in the Discord if that helps. Any other follow-up questions that you have, and then anybody else in the community, if you guys have questions or thoughts. If you find yourself in this situation often, leave a comment and how you get out of it or what you would do to fix it. Or if you have questions, right? Anyways, guys, love being able to review your guys' trades. Want to keep this really short. Hopefully that helps, and we'll see you for tomorrow. See you trading tomorrow.